The second question I have on my list is regarding the demand for actuaries in Asia. When we talk about the different domains or subsectors, for example, life, GI, health, pension, or when we divide the functions into pricing, reserving, risk management, or data science, etc. In your opinion, which subsector or function has a higher demand in Asia at the moment? And do you see any changes in demand or a huge potential for a subsector for the next 5 to 10 years? Tianyuan, do you want to have a go first?
Well, in terms of the demand, what I see in Southeast Asia is that it's quite different, depends on the countries. So like in Singapore, because it's a headquarter for like the Southeast Asia hubs for many companies. So you know, the Southeast Asia is a fast developing. So there's still quite a lot of kind of demands in like the actuaries, but it depends on whether it's a general insurance or it's a life and health. So what I see is that for general insurance, the demand is less comparing to life and health sector, because life and health sector is quite fast growing in this region. And also for the GI side, I do see the demand is more the traditional roles, which is the reserving type of roles. And for the pricing, a lot of countries and a lot of company I see, because of the development stage, so it doesn't require a very kind of technical pricing, and sometimes it's still carried by the underwriter, especially on the commercial line side. For the retail lines, it has a growing kind of demand for the pricing, but in the past it has, comparing to reserving. The other area I saw the higher demand or rising demand for the GI actuaries is on the risk management side. So there are many countries in this region that start developing a new kind of regulatory kind of requirement for the capital. And so some countries like developing the RBC, RBC2, where in the past it was relatively simple. So I do see there are more demands for the risk management, and especially for the actuary who have the quantitative ability to work out the capital. But I would say that for the risk management, it's still remaining as a relatively immature comparing to the developed countries, although it's coming up and coming. The other area is probably the data science field. And although like most of those are still remaining as a kind of partnership, and so the companies that work with third-party provider for those data analysis and development of innovation. So maybe not a traditional kind of type of actuaries roles that it demands, but it does require people understand both insurance industry and also have the data capability. So that's another area for growing. But I do think like on the life side and the health side, because the sector is fast growing, so it has more demand on that side in this region. Yeah, that's what I see in terms of the demand. Yeah.
Wanxi or Mingyu, do you want to add any color to this question?
Okay, maybe let me go first or second. Actually, before I say anything, maybe I should also put a disclaimer here. What I'm about to say is my own personal view. By all means, does not represent Deloitte or like CANUK or anything. But anyway, I think a lot of what I say is much similar to what King has just shared. I think in particular in Hong Kong, the life sector is currently, from what I've seen so far, a lot bigger than GI or other sectors. But again, like what Kenya has shared with the upcoming like Hong Kong RBC and some like more demand from risk, I probably expect to see like more opportunities coming up for both life and GI. So especially I think for GI, mean, it has been relatively like empty in a way. So for the past year, so I do see a lot of opportunities coming up.
Mingyu, do you have anything to add on this question?
I think I'll give you a pass for this question, given that I'm not an actuarial background. But just one observation for mainland China's insurance sector, I can see it's similar to what Tianyuan and Wanxie said. It's still early stage, so I think there's a lot of potential for the sector to grow, and also demand for actuarial professionals.
Okay, thank you all for your answers. We have a few more questions here. One of the question is from the audience, Yang Ruiqi, is how to find potential job opportunities when based overseas and re-establish professional network in a new city. Anyone who would like to answer this question?
I would say that maybe based on my experience, and so initially when I was looking for a job in Singapore, so the one channel is the headhunter. So like there are quite a lot of kind of people working in this industry and looking for those technical specialists like the actuaries. But there are not many available actuaries in the market. But on the other side, there are not many jobs opening or demands. And so it's like a demand and supply kind of a question. And so to start looking for jobs, and I think that's probably the first contact, and also the people who are ready move to this market and can give some advice. And I think like people who work in the UK, it's not just focusing on just UK market, but also have other exposures in other countries, and most likely that the Asian countries because of our background. And like, you know, for me, when I was using when I used to work in the Lloyd's market, so I did work for with people that in Singapore and in other Asia countries. So before I start moving here, I did contact them and just ask about their tips and advice, and to start building kind of the relationship, the contacts in this market, and then you just have to do some research about you know what sort of the demands and the skill sets that you requires, and whether the skill sets is a good fit, and then yeah, just working from there, I would say.
Thanks, Tianyuan. Okay, the next question I have here is, how do you see the impact of COVID in the market there?
Maybe let me share some of my observations so far. I guess from like as a professional perspective, like from our like work, so how do I put it? I guess like similar to what's happening in the UK, I guess, like working from home and also restricted like social interactions is kind of becoming a norm. So I mean, people are getting used to like working from home and talk to people via like Zoom, or also having conferences like via Zoom or Skype. And so I think from that perspective, I think the professionals are adjusting to the new way of like working life. But I think being an actuary, I'm actually feeling quite lucky or relieved in a way that our profession hasn't been impacted as much. Like for example, if you are comparing to the tourism industry or retail industry, they definitely suffer a lot more than what we do. But actually, from a commercial perspective, I think Hong Kong especially like where the business are many, for example, many of you probably know that a lot of mainland Chinese come to Hong Kong to buy insurance products. So that has been like a big part of insurance companies, like premium income, etc.
But that has been there for sorry to interrupt, but that has been there for many years, right? Well, at least for the last 10 years.
Exactly, but I think given the close down of the border, so that has been causing a lot of issues for like some companies. So then you probably say that, whereas, but on the other hand, insurers who rely less on, for example, mainland tourists as potential customers have benefited, or their performance for the past quarters have been relatively better.
Okay, that's fine. Mingyu, do you want to add some more comments?
Yeah, I can share some experience or observation for Mainland China, because we know that Mainland China, the lockdown period has been relatively short than elsewhere. So the period that mainly being impacted during January, February, and by end of February, I think a lot of us already back to the office and things are gradually getting back to normal. For example, this weekend when I went out to shopping malls, all the restaurants, you got to queue up. So things are getting back to normal. But one thing that making impact to the insurance sectors is that for the life and health insurance side, during January, because of the lockdown, a lot of the agents actually cannot get out to see their clients or potential clients. So therefore, the sales of life new premium have been decreasing for a short period of time, and then things are slowly getting better. But during that period, we can see a lot of not only insurance but also other retail sector are using a lot of internet ways to carry on the business as usual. As we know that live broadcasting 直播, also using a lot of WeChat group to share product information, to do flash shares, flash sales as well. So I have seen a lot of insurance company, or especially for the distribution side, they're using all this WeChat group to share information, using broadcasting to do the training for the agents, but also do this kind of seminar or Q&A sessions for potential clients. So it's actually a good opportunity for the sector to speed up its process, its transition process to digital, because before it's still quite traditional sector that people still trust that we got to have face-to-face meeting. It's quite old school, but during this period, everything speed up, and even for insurance company, before that, it might have a very good, for example, work from home infrastructure for VPN. But because of the COVID-19, things have to be speed up.
I think that's really a good point. Actually, I think in the UK, people like previously probably for the front office, the big organization would say that you cannot work from home because we don't have the infrastructure to allow you to do that. But because of COVID, they all work from home, and it turns out to be it's okay for those people to be working from home. So the way that people work going forward will change to some extent for sure. And I also think that China is like mainland China is quite good at like innovative in terms of the distribution side. So that's something maybe our CANUK or our insurance companies in the UK can also learn from that on that aspect. Tianyue, do you have anything to comment?
Yeah, I think both of Wenxie and you have summarized quite well. And for like Singapore, it's very similar that we still kind of semi-lockdown and people have to work from home at the moment, and unless there's essential business requirement. And also in terms of like the life side, that people, although can go out, do shopping, but have to wear mask and have the social distancing applied. So it creates a lot of, I mean, inconvenience for people, but now it's just people have to get used to the way of life. For the insurance industry, because my current job is working with the market, so I do have some observation on the Southeast Asia market, and a different country may have a different impact, but in general, what we see is that on the operating performance, it definitely have quite a bit of disturbance on the company's performance. And so on the underwriting side, we do see that during the lockdown, there's some lines of business like motor, health, and people do tend to claim less due to the the activities, and then some lines which have a kind of a bigger shocks, and like the business interruption, which do receive some of the claims. But on the, I think it's more impact on the investment side. So the insurance company do see struggling with the investment returns and during this time. But Q1 was quite bad, and I think Q2 that what we see that in terms of quite many markets that started to recover, and both the underwriting and both the investment side started to recover from April, and now slowly coming back. And but on the the premium side, and we do see a lot of lines of business that started to degrow, and for this half a year, comparing to 2019, and the premium have dropped quite dramatically. And but the companies do in this market do expect to recover soon once the economy open. So some lines of business like travel, and which have a very big impacts because of like stagnant of traveling, and some business like health, which actually do see quite a good growth during this time due to the rising of awareness of having the health protection. So it's a win and the loss situation. Some do see fast growing and kind of speeding up the growing due to this pandemic, but some lines do have quite a bit of disturbance on the growing and also on the performance during this time.
Okay, thank you for sharing your thoughts on this topic.